Pechenik to the center of the stage. Professor Pechenik stepped down at the end of December as president of the Delta chapter Phi Beta Kappa. He's also retiring from Tufts after many decades as one of the most beloved members of the biology department. There will be, Professor Pechenik's going to have to suffer through a whole host of tributes in the months ahead, talking about his outstanding scholarship and his extraordinary contributions to his field. What I want to focus on today, however, is his contributions to the chapter and also to students at Tufts. Professor Pechenik has been president of Phi Beta Kappa for, I think, well over a decade now. And he brought with his time as president a unique insight into students, a unique insight into what defines our chapter. We joke on the committee that there's nothing that Jan likes more than when we come across a student who's taken Shakespeare. That gets him very excited. Because as a biologist, as a scientist, he has an extraordinary and unending curiosity about history, about literature, about everything that defines the world around us. And Jan brought that curiosity to the board of Phi Beta Kappa. He might have been president for over a decade, but he's been on the board for decades. And he has represented a real focus on the centrality of the student experience and really truly represents the core of what Phi Beta Kappa stands for. Not only outstanding scholarship, but an outstanding sense of the whole scope of liberal arts and sciences, a true intellectual curiosity, what we call in essence kind of the spirit and spark of a scholar. Professor Pechenik has that himself, but he also has a unique way of seeing it and kindling it in his students. In our Phi Beta Kappa meetings, he was always the voice of reason and calm, even when some of us might get a little maybe irritated if a student we really believe should get in didn't. He was always the one who could bring us together, who could find a common path forward, and always someone who stood up for every candidate that we reviewed, always finding what he thought was that spark when we found it there, always looking to make sure that we maintained a level of equity as we were addressing each and every student. You should all know that each and every one of you were discussed as an individual based on your individual records and who you are as individuals. And Professor Pechenik, in his entire time on the board, very much represented that extraordinary spirit. I've been on this board for only 19 years, and I'm one of the, well, actually not now. I was one of the less seasoned members. Now I'm actually one of the more seasoned members. What Professor Pechenik has brought not only to the board of Phi Beta Kappa is also what he's brought to Tufts University. There are those faculty who not only excel in their scholarship, but truly excel in their connection with students. And Professor Pechenik has done that every day of his Tufts career. Many of you, I think, have taken one of his newest courses, Bio 12 Human Evolution, a course that was in many ways created to make sure that students who might not going to be majoring in biology could still have a real experience in biology that taught them some of the key concepts that truly exposed them to the field. A science course that was geared for those who would not be science majors, but truly exposed them to what the discipline is all about. And that is the spirit of what Jan very much represents. I've been at Tufts now for 31 years. There are a handful of faculty over those 31 years who have truly stood as representative of the core values of this institution and the very best of who we are at this institution. And Professor Pechenik is one of those individuals. It is my privilege then to offer our congratulations on his retirement, but also our deepest and most sincere thanks for his extraordinary service, not only to the chapter, but to Tufts University as well. I think Professor Pechenik would like to say a few words. Yes.
Give it a try. great. Thanks very much, David, for those very kind words, and congratulations to all of you and your parents for becoming new members of Phi Beta Kappa. And as you probably know, becoming a member of Phi Beta Kappa is no trivial feat. We don't just admit students because they have high GPAs, and we look carefully at every transcript and every letter of recommendation over a number of hours for many weeks. And we look for students that not only have high GPAs, but also show evidence of what we consider true intellectual curiosity, not only within their majors, but also outside the majors in a variety of other fields. So becoming a member of Phi Beta Kappa at Tufts is, quite an honor. And I must say, serving on this committee for the past 100 years or so has also been quite an honor for me. And in fact, it's always been one of my favorite things to do at Tufts. Not only because it's been great to work with other members of this committee, which has always been the case, especially with our secretary, Phi Beta Kappa, Professor Proctor. And I've often said that I don't know how this committee would in fact be able to do what it has done for so many years without his incredible behind-the-scenes, time-consuming work for Phi Beta Kappa. But it's also been, I think, one of my favorite things to be involved with at Tufts because it's been such an honor to be involved in the process of admitting students into this really special society. So thank you all, and congratulations to all of you and to your parents.
Thank you, Jan, and Mr. Secretary, and for your many years of hard work and dedication, not only to Phi Beta Kappa, but to Tufts. As we conclude our ceremony, I want to congratulate the new members.